This event has quite literally melted my brain. I have spent an ungodly amount of time trying to get the Knightfall era battle complete on all the tiers, even though I've got Relic 9 characters, and I was able to get it done, guys, but it's mind-numbingly frustrating. I know we're supposed to wait for the full team to come out, but I want my rewards now. Sue me. Alright, we managed to get some pretty damn good rewards doing this, but be warned, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to try and get this done, it's most likely going to take you some time. Here we are, Knightfall era battle. I did manage to get every single tier complete, and it does give you some rather juicy rewards. Check out this final tier over here. It's not a random selection, you get everything. So 5 droid brains is great, 5 Girder keypads is great, 5 Omicrons is great. Look at that. Clone Force 99 representing in my Omicrons, and 5 million credits, which we don't really care about. But the other tiers over here, getting 10 Zimbidies and 5 million credits, really not so bad. We also are able to get either 10 Impulse Detectors or 10 Aeromags. Both of those are very, very valuable, so I'm not upset about that. Tier 4, less important really. You get a random selection of items. Some signal data, some, early relic mats, essentially. If you get the chromiums, you got skunked, basically, because this item is really, really easy to get. And same for erodiums, really. If you get either of these, it's kind of bad news bears, right? Nobody wants them. 2 million. The other tiers are okay. The main real attraction for sort of tiers 1 and 2 is for the early game, light spender / free-to-play player. They can get some free shards of brand new characters, and in 2 weeks' time, after we've had Disguised Clone Troopers marquee event finish, he will be added to the rotation on this Knightfall era battle box, and I'm pretty sure that with Disguised Clone Trooper, we'll be able to 3-star all of these tiers thanks to the massive damage output he's going to be bringing to the team. I will be testing that out in 2 weeks' time when we see how that plays out. Side note, ladies and gentlemen, if you've not seen the kit reveal, go check out my video I did earlier today. And furthermore, don't forget, next week on Tuesday, when his kit drops, we will be doing a giveaway for some free shards of Disguised Clone Trooper. So if you're interested in getting that, hit that like button and set yourself a reminder for next Tuesday. Huge, huge. Okay, let's talk about mods. How did we mod the team in order to make this happen? Here we are. So, of course, my characters are at Relic 9. You need that in order to access the higher tiers. If you've only got Relic 9 on one or the other, you'll only be able to take in one or the other character, okay? So, CX2, I've got all the Zetas. I do have the Omicron. Not that that's active. That would be great if it was. That would be fantastic. I have modded this guy for just boatloads of speed and a bunch of protection. Protection is just going to convert into his max health, make him a bit more survivable, and then when he gets that bonus protection, that's based on his max health as well. So the more protection you have, the more survivable you can be. I have heard people say that they've swapped out for things like crit damage set with a lot of offense, and that still worked. Ultimately, the real secret to surviving this battle, even if Jocasta Nu blows up the board, only really applies at Relic 9 because you've got higher levels of mastery. But this guy is actually an evasion mastery character. So the more relic levels you have on him, the higher his base evade is. You can see over here, mastery of 70 increases crit chance, crit damage, deflection chance, and dodge chance. Deflection and dodge are just evasion, right? Deflection is for special attacks, dodge is for physical attacks. So essentially, the higher his mastery, the higher the base chance of him evading. So if we check over here, we can see that his dodge chance is actually 24.5, deflection 24.5. That's a quarter chance to dodge the big boomer that comes out of Jocasta Nu, right? Well, no, wrong actually, because of this. Lord Vader. Now, Lord Vader has a couple of things. First and foremost, his leadership is still passing 20% mastery. I'm making some assumptions here that Lord Vader's leadership is maxed out and Zated for the gifted character that we use. So that 20% mastery is obviously going to be better the more relic levels you have. Adding an extra 14 potential mastery to the base of a Relic 9 CX2, which is increasing his evasion further. But also, when you use Unshackled Emotions, we are going to gain 1% mastery on all of our allies per stack of Underestimated. By the end of this, when you're facing Jocasta Nu, you're going to have 60 stacks, which means every time you use Unshackled Emotions, you're going to gain 60% mastery for all your allies, which means your CX2 is more evasive, right? He's got a higher chance to just blind dodge attacks. Now, if you can get about 3 Unshackled Emotions, you're almost guaranteed to just evade that attack at Relic 9. That's kind of the dirty secret realistically speaking, when it comes to these end tier events. So moving on, whilst we understand that we've got a lot of survivability that can add him extra protection, extra bonus protection, and all that business is good, you can mod him for crit damage. Now, note, I do have him pretty fast, 345. I recommend a lot of speed, but I've seen people beat it with like 310. So this is just how I've decided to mod it. So Apo, I've gone for a lot more damage. I'm running an offense set here with some survivability. We've got health primaries over there. Protection primary is probably better than health, but I've gone for the higher levels of percentile offense and speed, offense on the cross, and crit damage on the triangle. Once again, have heard that crit damage works better. Still running that crit damage on the triangle, offense on the arrow, and potentially even offense on the cross, and potentially even offense on the arrow as well, if you can make that happen. So I'm running him at 351 speed, and he's got about 10.8k damage. The more damage, the better. He does a lot of damage, and the real thing that's scary about this is how long it takes to take down the enemies. Alright, so starting off with the video footage that I have for tier 4, this is actually, in my opinion, the hardest one to get done. I know that sounds stupid, but your Lord Vader is so much weaker than normal at this tier. If he gets focused down, it's kind of bad news. Now I'm just going to speed up the footage. Just have this at 2 times speed so we don't have to waste a lot of time. Essentially, all you're really looking to do is put this on full auto and just hope for the best, guys. Quite literally hope for the best. Now, there are things that you can do to improve it, but honestly, it ultimately comes down to RNG in the final wave to see if you do get that dodge off CX2 or if you can even survive that long. So if I'm telling you the best way to do this is to just hit auto and save yourself some sanity, I genuinely do think that is the best thing you can do. Now, one thing I would recommend if you want to increase your odds is you want to make sure going into wave 4, that Unshackled Emotions, that AoE Force Crush essentially that Lord Vader has, you want that off cooldown, and preferably the first special as well, so you can have a little bit of survivability. It's all about trying to ramp that mastery on CX2 so that you can hopefully evade the attack, alright? The real thing is, does Jocasta Nu focus almost exclusively on Apo? If she does focus on Apo, your chances of success are so much higher. If she focuses on Lord Vader, you are done, you are cooked, you are toast, alright? But if she just keeps on focusing on Lord Vader, you can see here, once she goes, boom, check it out. Look, just there. Deflected. She did 459,000 points of damage on the crit. Because she killed Lord Vader, she can then also kill our Apo. Big sad. But of course, the deflected, or the dodge in this instance, of this attack is what helps us survive. That's why we want to try and save that Unshackled Emotions, because every little bit of extra mastery is going to help improve our odds. So that there was tier 4. As we can see now, when it finishes up, we'll be like, doop-a-doop-a-doo, only 1 stars, but tier 4. We got some decent rewards here. The chromium transistors, not so great, but bronzium's never a bad thing to have. Let's go on to tier 5 then. The basis is exactly the same. Just hit auto. Honestly, there's not a whole lot you can do. You just have to hope for that lucky hit there. But what I will say is, there is a chance, there is a way of potentially having your Lord Vader survive the attack, and you can get 3 stars from this. The only way to do it is to hopefully have Lord Vader not have all of his attacks hit. Try to finish up with as much bonus protection on Lord Vader as you possibly can. So if you are saving the special from CX2, for example, which provides 30% additional bonus protection to your allies, and, you know, after that, not long after that, you manage to defeat Jocasta Nu and she goes into her, her final stand, it's up to you ability, and tries to nuke the field, there is a chance that you can actually just survive. So if your CX2 dodges and your Lord Vader survives the hit, you can actually get 3 stars, which is actually what happened here for me today, which I thought was incredibly lucky. I've seen people have this happen as well on the final tier. You can also have Lord Vader dodge the attack. Like 2% chance. Very, very rare. Wouldn't try and do it. I would just take the 1 star if you can. So you're never going to stop her getting out that rifle. It's impossible. She's going to get it. You cannot deal enough damage to defeat her in time. So here we are, we're just leaving it on full auto. We're hoping she doesn't attack Lord Vader too much, but she is still doing pretty good damage. That special there brought a bunch of bonus protection to our team, and she's leaving Lord Vader alone. Trigger it, and boom, check it out. There we go. Lord Vader managed to tank a 500k hit just about. Look how much health he had left. And because Lord Vader was still standing, we are able to have our Apo survive, and it looks like our CX2, dodged the attack again, right? So higher levels of mastery increases our odds of that happening, and that successfully got us a 3-star victory at tier 5, giving us some impulse detectors and some biddles. Not mad about that at all. And then finally, we have the tier 6 of the event. And honestly, I will say this is easier than tier 4. Once again, nothing changes, just hit full auto. You'll find that the first tier is a little bit quicker, at least I do in my testing so far. Shakti still can be either really quick or take forever, but essentially you can still have Lord Vader either dodge or potentially survive the big hit from Jocastanu, but I honestly wouldn't waste your time with it. Just take any victory that you can on this, because it's so RNG dependent that you're just going to end up going crazy. I got very lucky today, and I managed to finish this in probably about half an hour on all the tiers, which is very, very lucky, I'll fully admit. So maybe there's something to do with the modding that helped, but ultimately I just think it's down to RNG, guys. Hit that auto button and just keep your fingers crossed that you don't annoy the geriatrics too much, that they start committing war crimes with modified weapons that are probably in breach of the Geneva Convention. You know, if Geneva was a thing in the Outer Rim. So yeah, here we are. We take out Shakti, who has died many a death in the Star Wars universe. Eventually, she has such survivability. I really cannot wait for Disguised Clone Trooper to come in here and be like, "Oh, I see you've got Order 66. I'm just gonna pop you for about 1 million damage." That's gonna be great. That's gonna be so great. It's gonna make this go so quickly. Everybody will be 3-starring once they've got my boy Disguised Clone Trooper over there. God, Shakti, how long do you want to survive? There's only so much time that I can spend here waffling to you guys and pretending like this is valuable information. Come on, Shakti, let's go. Get out of here. Take your Togruta tails and get the hell out of here. Kelleran Beck, once again, you have to hope he doesn't just exclusively focus on Lord Vader. But again, I do find that Lord Vader is a lot tankier in this phase. You know, because he's got so much more additional stats at the later tiers, he can take those hits a lot more. He can take like 2 or 3 of the big leaps from Kelleran. Now that we've got CX2, we've got a little bit more recovery in our team as well, so it makes our odds that much better. So again, I didn't try and prep anything here. I just want to hopefully have Unshackled Emotions available immediately. You can see the 60 over here. That 60 is representative of Underestimated, which means the more we'll be gaining more mastery when we use Unshackled Emotions. If she just focuses on Appo like this, look at this, 2 hits in a row, 3 hits in a row, then she can't defeat Appo because Lord Vader is there. 4 hits in a row, and 5 hits in a row. This is what you need, 6 hits in a row. It's the only 7 hits in a row. It's the only way it's going to happen, and then boom. They hit him for 524,000 damage. Potentially, if they didn't crit him, maybe we would survive. But also, we should be able to see that our boy Appo dodges. I mean, he definitely doesn't take any damage, so... Yeah, you saw the deflected there ever so briefly. It was going a bit too quickly. But Appo dodging is essentially the solution to all life's problems. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Nice rewards. 5 Gerda keypads, 5 droid brains, 5 Omicrons, and 5 million credits. Lovely. Now, I'm not saying like this is going to be a cake ride. I'm not saying that this was the right way to release this event. But what I am saying is that if you pray hard enough to RNGesus, you will be able to get these rewards, and you will cry yourself to sleep at the wasted time that you spent doing it. Hopefully this was helpful to somebody somewhere. If it was, please do leave me a like, a comment down below if you please, and if you're not subscribed already, then what the hell are you doing, guys? Just hit that subscribe button so in like 10 years time I'll catch up to Arnold in subscribers if he just completely stops making content altogether. Smashing. I'll see you all in the very next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.